It seems quite simple to say, doesn't it? You know, but it isn't, well, because you don't have any rights. Victims have no rights whatsoever. They have no legal representative. The prosecutor isn't for victims, he's for the state. And when they're making decisions about your loved one, about thresholds or whatever, have the decency to sit with the family, face the family, and work it out with them, because they were so respectful on the steps. They understood the mental health, but what they couldn't understand was what was happening around them, where they couldn't have any time. And as I say, to me, it shows you how the system really doesn't work for victims and just takes it for granted that, well, it's done now and off we go again.
Baroness Helen Newlove, the long-serving Victims Commissioner for England and Wales, has died at the age of 63 following a short illness. Her passing marks the loss of one of Britain's most determined voices for justice and compassion. From personal tragedy to public transformation, her life's work reshaped how the justice system treats victims, giving them not just recognition, but power. Who was Baroness Helen Newlove, and why was she so influential? Helen Newlove became a national figure after her husband, Garry Newlove, was murdered outside their family home in Warrington in 2007. Instead of retreating into silence, she turned her grief into a powerful campaign for community safety, youth reform, and victims' rights. In 2010, she was made a life peer and, 3 years later, appointed Victims Commissioner for England and Wales. What was the state of victim support before she took office? Before Helen's appointment, victims of crime were often left feeling ignored and powerless. Many received little information about their cases, limited emotional or legal support, and faced long, confusing processes. Victim care was inconsistent across the country, what she called a postcode lottery of justice. How did her personal experience shape her mission? The pain of losing her husband to random violence became the driving force behind her mission. She understood firsthand the loneliness victims feel when the justice process ends. Her personal story gave authenticity to her message, that no victim should feel forgotten by the system meant to protect them. What immediate actions did she take as Victims Commissioner? Helen restructured the Commissioner's office, expanding its authority and independence. She launched nationwide surveys to document victims' experiences and led reviews into antisocial behavior, the parole system, and the Victims Code. Her aim was simple but powerful, to ensure victims were heard, respected, and informed at every stage. What was the Victims Code, and how did she strengthen it? The Victims Code outlines the rights of crime victims, from being kept updated to receiving emotional and practical support. Helen championed revisions that made these rights clearer and enforceable. Her influence helped shape the Victims and Prisoners Act 2024, ensuring these rights became part of the law, not just guidelines. How did she improve support services for victims? Helen fought for increased funding and visibility for frontline victim services, from domestic abuse charities to trauma counseling networks. She warned government ministers that cutting support would risk justice itself, reminding them that victims need more than sympathy, they need resources and protection. What challenges still remained during her tenure? Despite her progress, she acknowledged ongoing struggles, delayed trials, slow compensation, and regional inequalities in service quality. Many victims still faced long waits for justice, and she repeatedly urged reforms to make the system faster, fairer, and more humane. What was her vision for the future of victim support? Helen believed that justice must evolve. She advocated for restorative justice opportunities, better technology to communicate with victims, and stricter accountability for failures in victim care. Her goal was a modern, transparent system that truly serves people, not just procedures. How does her legacy live on? Her courage inspired a new generation of victim advocates and policymakers. Today, the standards of victim treatment and transparency that she introduced have become national expectations. Her influence can be felt in every reform that prioritizes victims' dignity and voice. Finally, Baroness Helen Newlove showed the world that tragedy can spark transformation. Her life reminds us that justice is not complete when a sentence is passed, it's complete only when victims are respected, supported, and healed. Her work continues through the countless lives she changed and the systems she reformed. Now, it's up to all of us to continue what she began, because her fight must become our fight. If you believe in her mission and want more educational stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep her legacy alive.